purpose of this recording is also to capture main questions. And also we are planning to integrate this call, this recording to the website with the call guidelines. So once again, we are just officially informing you that the call is recorded. This meeting is recorded and the purposes for putting attached to the website. If you do not agree to be the part of the recording, this is the moment you could leave. So welcome to the session. My name is Milda. Together with me, Elina, we'll take you through the guidance document of the call for the EIT Food Country Representatives. So we capture several of the most important points in the call. We'll provide you with overview, the scope of activities we foreseen for EIT Food Country Representatives. We touch the point of eligibility, the technical issues related to proposal submission, then evaluation and selection process, and then we'll keep at least half an hour for your questions. I would like to ask you to use the chat to put your question there. We will pick up all questions at the end of the presentation. This will facilitate later on also to use the recording. So if I may ask you to switch to the next slide, thank you. So what is the purpose of the call? We would like to select the organization who represent EIT food in the EIT risk countries. So we are going to appoint up to 15 EIT food country representatives in EIT countries in Central, Eastern and Southern part of Europe for 3 years for the period for 26 to 28. The main responsibilities of EIT Food Country Representatives will be operate within EIT community hubs established in the country to strengthen our position of EIT food in national ecosystems. We would like to see the country representatives strongly engage with national agri-food systems to accelerate, improve, increase participation across of the knowledge triangle organization coming from universities, research centers, industrial partners. So in terms to increase participation in our programs and activities. The country representative also will support us in reaching startups, entrepreneurial talents, students, farmers, all stakeholders to whom we address our activities and programs. We foreseen the EIT grant to be allocated per each country, 150K in total. It means 50K annual allocation of EIT grant. And every country representative must bring co-funding of the value 20%. It represents 12.5 K euros annually. We will run this call with the deadline in January, and then we'll need some time for our evaluation. So we're foreseeing that the estimated implementation will start in the end of March. So now I would like to guide you through the scope of activities, the task we foreseen in the call documents. So in the next slide, we also would like to give you overview of the time and also funding allocation we foreseen as kind of general introduction to the task. So the country representative will operate within EIT Community Hub, being the voice of EIT Food in this umbrella foreseeing all activities in the EIT community in the country. The task number 2, represent us in the country and connect EIT food with agri-food system, represent EIT food at national, local events. Then the one task is dedicated to build a pipeline of startups who join EIT food programs. And then the task number 4 is around education activities of EIT food. So country representatives should support them in reaching learners and also prepare the courses. And the next task is around building innovation, entrepreneurship capacities in the countries. And here, as you see, the biggest dedication of the resources, because here we would like to ask you to include in your action plan specific activity, training, workshop, hackathon who will bring core KPIs. And the next task is around communication and management. Now I will touch each of those tasks separately just to give you the overview. So of course, in the application form, you foreseen also action plan that includes KPIs, and this action plan that you are submitting with the call should reflect all those tasks. The performance of the country representative will be also evaluated around the KPIs achieved. We are foreseeing a midterm report that you will submit after around July, and then the whole performance will be evaluated on the annual basis. The cost incurred with the performance of the country representatives will be reported annually. I would like to draw your attention to the EIT Food KPI guidance document. You will have all description of KPIs we are using, also with the list of the obligatory information you should submit within KPI reporting. So if we go with the task number 1, operate in the framework and contribute to the performance of EIT Hub established in the country. So this is umbrella for the performance of the KIC, RIS hubs and CLCs operating in the country. So as a deliverable here, you can see signature of memorandum of understanding with the EIT Community Hub. It will be signed one for the period of 2 years. We expect you to attend the meeting organized by ECHO, the EIT community officer who is managing the hub. And from the practice, we know that it's happening at least one per quarterly, but it really depends on the country and operation of the ECHO. We expect country representatives also sharing information with ECHO. It should be exchanged in both directions of information. And as KPIs, we are also going to measure the number of activities on the cross-KIC level, so what EIT Food Country Representatives are organizing together with other communities present in the country. Please note that starting from the next year, we are going to use specific branding. So our representation in the RIS country, it will be labeled as EIT Food Hub. EIT Food Country Representative, then the name of the country, the member of EIT Community Hub. So if you're representing university, research center, NGO, the private unit, you as organization will be nominated as EIT Food Country Representative, then name the country, the member of EIT Community Hub, and the name of the country. With task number 2, that we foreseen for operation of the country representatives, here we are very focusing on the presence and representing that you will represent us in the national agri-food system. So you will be the main contact for the stakeholders that would like to reach EIT Food, the stakeholders that we understand as organization, but also individuals as startups, learners, farmers, industrial retailers, etc. You represent us on the national ground, and also you will help us to identify opportunities for collaboration and complementary funding. So here you see also deliverables that we were seeing for this task of country representative. So we would like to have the database on the stakeholders in the country. And we foresee that it should be at least 30 stakeholders listed database. Also overview of funding opportunities and collaboration opportunities in the country. And as KPIs here, we are foreseeing number of national level innovation events that you, meaning country representative, will take part and promote EIT Food as a strong innovation network and also portfolio of our programs and activities. And also as KPI, we expect that at least one funding opportunity will be transferred in the potential partnership between country representative, EIT Food, and maybe other entities. If we go to the task number 3, the task number 3 is around scouting and preparing startups for participation in our entrepreneurship programs. And you can find the whole description of our programs on our website. It includes EIT Jumpstart, which is cross-KIC activity with other communities. and also EIT Food Acceleration Network. We are calling it EIT Fund. We would like to ask you to also support us with evaluating the progress of alumni of the previous activities delivered by EIT Food or our former representation in the country. This includes the activity run in the past by EIT Food Hubs, such as hackathons, challenge lab, etc. So we just would like to capture those KPIs, additional ones that could be very valuable for our reporting in the future. So here also you have the description of deliverables, like database of the agri-food startups with the profiles, but also database of alumni and just tracking their progress in reaching the maybe sales, maybe venturing they were attracting, overview of the startup ecosystem. So we would like to have this information coming from the country representatives. And as one of the deliverable, also the startup feedback on the support provided by country representative in the country. And main KPI here will be the number of the startups supported by the country representative that successfully completed an eligible application to programs designed by us, such as Jumpstarter or the EIT Food Acceleration Network. The task number 4 is around support of actions of EIT Food around education. It's mean by supporting us in identify and engage with suitable learners. Those are not only startups, but those could be professional farmers or researchers or even SMEs. All stakeholders, we are providing trainings, workshops, and education materials. We expect you also to promote our education offer and the course of catalog we have for relevant audience, and also participate in our trainings and raise awareness on the activities such as we are preparing the future, including a master program and academies. So here also you can see the deliverables and KPIs with the task 4, and now we are switching to the task number 5. Task number 5, it's around your contribution to innovation, entrepreneurship capacity building in the country you will represent. So here we foresee at least one activity that will strengthen the national innovation and entrepreneurship capacity in the agri-food sector that should be aligned with our mission and also the national priorities. Most of you are familiar on smart specialization strategies that are relevant for your countries. We would like to see some activities. Here you can see just the listed from the past was proposed hackathons, training for startups, any of those actions that you will foreseen as very valuable for the local ecosystem in terms to increase the innovation capacity. It could be investor matchmaking session, engagement activities with startups or other stakeholders. What is important for us that this activity, this action that we are proposing here, workshop training, has to come with the core KPIs. So core KPIs we mark in the red in the call guidelines document, but also I really encourage you to open the document that was attached, which describes the requirements for each of KPIs. So very important deliverable here will be the activity concept that should be approved by us at EIT Food in the stage of implementation, but this is also a very important part in application form. Participant feedback, it's something that we are also very collecting with the all workshop trainings we are doing at EIT Food, and also what is important for us in terms to capture all the KPIs and the number of audience we are reaching with our activities. It's the publication on our Food Hive communication platform. Once again, the core KPI is must-have, and we are keeping this open as you could present and propose the KPI according to activity you see the most valuable for the ecosystem you're representing.
Yeah, maybe just to add here, I also see that in the chat there is a question, where do we find the KPI? So here, depending on the type of activity that you choose, there might be different KPIs that are applicable. but it's important that you carefully read what are the requirements for each of the KPIs so that it's then possible to select the correct one so that you are meeting the criteria for each of the KPIs or for the KPI that you are planning to select. And this KPI document, we have linked it in the presentation, which we will make available. And also it is linked in the call guidelines. By heart, I cannot say right away which section it was, but for sure there is a link in the call guidelines to the KPI document, and in a moment we can also share the link to the KPI descriptions also here in the chat.
Yes, so this is
Go
placed
ahead.
in section
Yeah.
2. And also we are going to give you the direct link to the description of call KPIs. So as example, we can give, if you are deciding to run the activity training hackathon challenge lab for startups, there is a KPI around startup supported through the activity. And then there's requirement that the support should be at least for 2 months. So this is example of the KPI startup supported.
Okay.
Yes. And the management communication task, of course, this is based off the action plan that we are submitting in the application form, but also the participation in our training session. We foreseen up to 2 meetings in person at the beginning, somewhere around April, and also as a summary of the year, usually November. So those are 2 meetings in person. Also, performance report and submission of deliverables, KPIs in progress. This will come with the first midterm reporting that we foresee for July, and then yearly reporting summary of your performance for the 26th and 27th, 28th. What we're asking here also around KPIs, it's media coverage, at least 4 media coverage yearly, and also attendance of those meetings in person that we are going to organize in the beginning and in the end of each of the years. And now I will pass the floor to my colleague Elena, and she will guide you through the eligibility criteria.
Yes, thank you, Milda. So I see that we have quite a lot of questions coming up in the chat, and as Milda mentioned in the beginning, we will go through them. I see that also our colleague Leticia is responding to some, and some of the participants. So that's thank you very much. And we'll just as much as we can, we'll respond now during the call, and then we'll just dedicate some time at the end for the questions. So regarding the application, the applicant eligibility. So this call in particular is targeting 22 countries, and these are all listed here. We have received a question from a couple of entities in Kosovo to asking whether or not entities from Kosovo are eligible to participate. And unfortunately, none of the participants from the countries that are not listed in this, that are not included in this list are eligible to apply. So you cannot, so we are not foreseeing at the moment anyone being a EIT Food representative, not at this point in Kosovo. So regarding the eligibility as well, is we are looking for legal entities. So these are not individual persons, but legal entities that apply to be the EIT Food Country Representatives. And we are also asking for a certain track record, if I can say so, for these legal entities, and it's that they have to be established for 3 years. So at the time of applying, so at the deadline of the call, you should be at least 3 years mature or old. So also, a little note on the countries. We have bolded some of the countries, and this is just to mention where EIT Food currently has hubs. So we have been establishing and rolling out the EIT Food Hub network since 2018. And in 2025, we have hubs in 15 countries, which are the ones that we have marked in bold here. So another aspect of eligibility is that we are looking for applicants from the country where they are applying to be EIT Food Country Representatives. So I'm giving here an example to just clearly explain. So if you are, for example, applying to be an EIT Food Representative in Lithuania, so you should have an entity that has been registered and is operating in Lithuania. Then regarding the setup of the application, we welcome applications from either single entities or consortia that are made up of maximum 2 entities. And this is really regarding the consortium, we really invite you to really opt for the consortium approach if you feel that adding this, that there is something in your profile or in your experience that you are lacking, and that your application would really benefit from another entity, right? So we're not necessarily giving extra points or like extra advantage to the applications that are submitted by consortiums. We really want to see that if there is a consortium, that there is really like a clear added value from this consortium, right? So if you do opt for a consortium, so the other entity, it has exactly the same eligibility rules as the lead entity. So established in the country you're applying to be a representative for at least for 3 years, and is also a legal entity. And if you apply as a consortium, you will also have to choose. So one entity has to be the lead of the consortium, and that will have the kind of the responsibility also to mobilize and engage the consortium member, also in terms of all the reporting and everything. While the other entity is going to be like a supporting consortium member. And then the final thing we wanted to mention, that when you apply, you can apply once. So you can't say the same entity apply in several consortia for the country. We are asking you to just participate in one consortia, or just to apply once as a single organization to this call. Then regarding the required experience, so we are really looking for entities that are established, that have an established presence and reputation in the country, that you are already connected to the agri-food system in your country, and that it's not something where you need to where you would just start developing, a stakeholder network. So we ask you to describe this and all the other aspects of the experience requirements that we have put forward. Oops. See, here we go. Then another important aspect of the experience, and we also see that this is maybe one of the reasons where you might want to engage a consortium member, is to have a good track record in supporting startups, early stage entrepreneurs, innovators. So that you actually can show that you are experienced in engaging the agri-food startups through your work. Down. For some reason it's blocking. Then we also, of course, want to see that you have some experience regarding the organization of capacity building activities, stakeholder engagement, and similar. That you are also have track records in identifying complementary funding, and that is, for example, going for national funding opportunities, that you are also working with other funding instruments, implementing projects, that are funded by other programs that are available nationally, or say cross-border activities, etc., that are in your country. And also to have experience in promoting innovation programs and conducting outreach. So to kind of engage, to have also a track record of engaging stakeholders and like future potential learners, identifying startups, etc. And when in the call guidelines, you have a much more detailed view of what we mean by each of these experience points and how we would like you to reflect it in your applications. And also, just a note that when you are applying in a consortium, we would be looking, so it's possible that, for example, not that every of the consortium organizations does not necessarily possess all of these experiences, but that we are evaluating your experience as a consortium as a whole when you are applying in pair with another organization. Then we've also extracted some of the questions from your registration forms and also the questions that we have received via email. And I'm just going to quickly go through them. So one of the questions that we had is regarding the type of entities that we expect to apply as country representatives. And here I have not, I've listed some, but the idea is that we don't have a specific thinking that it should be either a university or, I don't know, like a startup support entity or similar. It's really, we're really open to any type of relevant entity that has the relevant experience, and of course that meets also the eligibility requirements regarding the maturity of the legal entity and where it is located. So we currently, for example, the current hubs, we have a wide variety of organization types. We have companies, we have universities that are working together, for example, with regional development agencies or some regional startup support bodies or national ones for that matter. So yeah, there is no constraints regarding the type of organization that we think is the perfect EIT Food Country Representative. It's really the experience that you bring that we're interested in. So here again, just to reiterate regarding the applications from countries that are not listed in the call, and this is not possible in this particular call. I don't know, Milda, if you want to mention in 2 words how the list of the countries is defined.
So with this call, we are following the EIT risk eligibility. So if you tap EIT Europe, you will see also the information on the risk. At the moment, Moldova, no, it's not eligible in risk. So this is the reason we are not opening this call for Moldova. Regarding Poland and Spain, we do have offices in those countries, so we do not need to have country representation because we are operating in Poland and Spain. Regarding Kosovo, we are just building bilateral relations. So with Kosovo, we would like to work a little bit differently by creating direct relations with those representatives coming from Kosovo.
Okay, thank you, Milda. Can organizations that also act as Horizon Europe national contact point apply in this call? And the short answer is yes. It's just important to consider that's a more general Horizon Europe eligibility criteria, that in case this is a public body, that we cannot fund any of the activities that are considered to be as part of the normal routine for the administration. But in general, yes, there is no restriction in terms of applications from Horizon Europe NCPs. And also the same goes for the organizations that have taken part in the EIT Food Project. It's almost an advantage because you're already familiar with us and how we work. But yes, there are no restrictions, and also there are no restrictions in the future. Even if you become an EIT Food Country Representative, you can still go for other funding opportunities that EIT Food launches if this is relevant for your organization. Of course, hoping that, well, not really hoping, requiring that this does not impact your ability to perform your duties as a country representative, so that you don't overstretch yourselves in terms of human resources if you go for other funding opportunities. And then we also had a similar type of question for regarding the EIT Food Risk Policy Council members. And here the answer is no, because the Risk Policy Council members are physical persons that they are operating as individuals and not as organizations. And of course, the requirement in this call is that the applications are submitted by legal entities. So, of course, it's different if you are being part of a team of an organization. Then, of course, it's the organization that is applying. Also at whose experience we will be looking, right? So it's really important that the organization that you're applying with does have the necessary experience and meets the requirements that are set for the applicants. And then also we noticed that maybe some of the people who registered are more seeking funding for like their company growth or an innovative idea in the food sector. And this particular call really does not address these kind of activities. It is more, there are other funding opportunities like the EIT Food Impact Funding Framework that is specifically meant or kind of targeting more like innovation activities, or we have our startup support programs, right? So, but this particular call is really meant for establishing the representations in the 15 of these 22 countries and carrying out a set of tasks that Milda already described. So these 5+ administration tasks that we are asking the EIT Food Country Representatives to do. Okay, another aspect that maybe is a bit tricky for some of you, so we thought, okay, let's show you how to do this, is where and how to submit the proposal. So the proposal is to be submitted, as Milda mentioned, the deadline is on the 18th of January, so just before midnight. It's a Sunday, so you should submit your proposal via the EIT Food portal, my EIT Food portal. And if you do not have already a username and, well, a kind of profile in the portal, you need to first proceed with registering and creating a portal profile. And it's a little bit hidden, so I tried to make a screenshot where it's visible. So once you go to myeitfood.eu, just under the login button, there are two white interactive kind of buttons or texts, and you just need to click on this register here, complete the registration form, and then potentially have a little delay of a few days before you receive your login details. And then in case, so do not send an email to support@eitfood.eu to do that, but go via the registration button underneath, because the support function is really to support you when you have any technical troubles with the portal. So once you're in the portal, you can find the request for EIT Food Country Representatives under the open calls. So you need to go to this, because this will always have whatever open calls there are at that particular moment. So it's possible that some of them, will end. You will no longer be visible at the time when you will be opening this part. And then once you're in the call, you need to at the top right corner, you will see a button to create an application. This is required for you to create that application, and then you need to complete a couple of text here. Regarding the proposal title, we kindly ask you if you are able to identify it with the country that you're applying for. So that really facilitates for us also the work. So if you can just say like EIT Food Country Representative and the country name, that would be super useful. But of course, we will manage to allocate you to the correct country also if you don't do that and if you're already past this. And then for the description, you can really just also just include like a very minor, small description or just a character there. So we're not really using this particular information in any identification. It's really the proposal title that is the main identifier. So once you're in the application, there are a couple of things I just wanted to draw your attention to. So first of all, you need to select the country of application. And also just to reiterate that this is really a call that is targeting applicants from the 22 countries that we have mentioned. If you are from another country and if you do select other, then unfortunately this is going to be the end of the application for you, because we are not accepting applications from other countries at this point. And then another important aspect to identify is also whether or not this is submitted, the application is submitted by a consortium. You should really not forget to click yes here, because if you are submitting in a consortium, there are parts of the application form that will appear in the positive case here, and you will need to provide information, say, for example, like contact, like the main administrative information about your consortium member, as well as their experience, and also information, for example, like what is the complementarity of the consortium. So these are all mandatory information that fields that we need to have for the evaluation. So please make sure that you click and that you select here yes or no. And sometimes it's just a little trick that if you once you have selected things don't happen automatically. Just click somewhere outside the fields, and then the changes to the application form happen. Also, another just instruction, let's put it this way, for you is when you are completing the text fields, is to carefully read the instructions that we have put before the responses, because we are indicating there what it is that we're expecting from you in this particular question. So it's important that you are actually responding to the information requests or to the prompts that we are including there. And to be eligible, the application has to be fully completed, so please do not leave any fields empty. I think there is just one field, if I remember correctly, that is a kind of optional field if you want to add some additional information, like that you feel would be useful for your application. Then I think there is a field like that, but otherwise, please, and that you can skip if you don't want to add any information, but make sure that you really fill in all of the application form and in English, because if you do omit like fields that you don't complete, then this will unfortunately render your application ineligible. Then probably like just a practical thing, because obviously the application form can only be operated by one person that created the application form. So if you would like to collaborate with other colleagues or with another partner, you can download the application form in a Word format and work on that. But you'll just you can't submit the Word document, the completed Word document. You just need to transfer the information from your Word application to the online application in the My EIT Food portal. Okay. And in terms of the proposal submission, the final topic that I'd like to touch upon is relating to the budget. So please remember that this is a document that we're asking you to submit additionally. So you have the application form where you are descriptive part of the application form, and then we have a separate Excel file that we ask you to complete for the budget. Regarding the budget, an important thing to note is that EIT Food and the whole EIT operates in the framework of the Horizon Europe Cost Eligibility framework. So please make sure that once you are budgeting, when you are budgeting your costs, and also when you will be implementing those, that they are aligned with the Horizon Europe rules. And this is really totally on you. So you need to make sure that you are familiar with those rules. That are available in the funding and tenders portal. Regarding the budget breakdown, so if you are just a single entity, you put your budget in the lead entity, the field that is dedicated to the lead entity. But if you are submitting the budget, the proposal as a consortium, then you should add the budget for the consortium member. There is below the lead entity budget, and it basically looks the same. It just needs to show what is the budget split, which should also be aligned with the task split that you are indicating also in the action plan in the application form. So just make sure that this is, consistent with the split of the activities and the costs. And the thing is that costs need to be incurred by each entity separately. So if you are responsible for certain tasks and you have a budget, you need to be the one that is spending these costs. Then in the budget, it's there's a little summary table. This will aggregate the costs from both partners or from the one partner. And just a reminder that the total allocation of budget for the entire EIT food representation in the country is 50K of EIT grant, and you need to bring 12.5K co-funding. So just to notice, you can create a bigger budget than 62.5 thousand euros for the year, but anything above the 50,000 euro grant will have to if you are, say, proposing a budget of 70,000, it would just mean that you are bringing more co-funding. The 20,000 that is above the 50K would come from you as co-funding. So just something to keep in mind. So if you are again applying as a consortium, this is a total grant for both entities in the consortium. And the template is available on the call website. I believe maybe we have also linked it in the application form. And let me see. So, and to submit the budget, there is in the My EIT Food portal, you have a tab that is called supporting files, and this is where you would upload your completed budget. I think that's it for me, Milda. I pass it on to you now. Went very fast.
So the next chapter of our meeting today, evaluation and selection process. So the first check we are doing, it's around eligibility. So if we notice technical errors, it's like we are missing the Excel file. We'll give you 3 days to correct or attach the additional documents that is missing. So this is like 3 days window for any technical errors. And then we are going to have 2-stage evaluation. The first stage, we are going to select the best proposer per country. And the stage number 2, it will be the 15 best proposals. So in stage number 1, each proposal will be evaluated by 3 external evaluators, and we are going to prepare the ranking per each country. So they will be the best proposal, the ranking per each country. In case that we see 2 applications with a very similar score, we may decide to have interviews with the highest scored applicants. And if any application that score below the minimum threshold of the single criteria below 3 or the total weight score 3.5, this application will be eliminated from the next stage. If no application for a specific country score above the thresholds, there will be no application from this country that will be evaluated in the second stage. So the first stage is evaluation per country. The second stage, yes. So at the second stage, we are going to have interviews with all applicants. And at this stage, the shortlisted application will be also reviewed by our internal evaluators to determine strategic portfolio fit. So this is an additional element to be evaluated on the stage number 2. And the resulting score of internal review will be added to the score on that the applicant obtained in stage number 1. So the funding is available at the moment. EIT Food will let us to fund up to 15 the highest scoring application. So we are listing in the call 22 countries, but after evaluation stages, stage number 1, stage number 2, we are going to take the decision to fund it up to 15 applications. If it happened that one of applicants will withdraw during the onboarding process that we foreseen to have in March, then the next higher ranking application will be selected for the funding. So those are evaluation criteria we are going to use in the board process, excellence and impact. In excellence, we would like to understand how you as organization, what is your position in agri-food innovation ecosystem. So the applicants need to demonstrate a clear understanding of the country's agri-food innovation landscape. So here we are looking somebody who is like key actor in the local ecosystem in terms of agri-food sector, who understand the dynamics, challenges, and opportunities in the country they are applying. Relevance and strength of the prior experience, so the past activities run by applicant, its role in ecosystem, strong alignment with requirements that we are listing in section 3 and 2 of the call. Here you see also the wave, how many % of this excellence is assessment in the stage 1 and stage 2. The second criteria is impact. So here we are going to evaluate the ambition and contribution to the national agri-food ecosystem. So we are going to evaluate your proposal, how you are seeing like this creation of the value of the country agri-food ecosystem, and how you see also alignment with the potential synergies with relevant national or regional programs, strategies, or innovation. Here in the impact session, we also would like to see contribution to increase visibility and engagement with EIT Food, and also EIT community under this umbrella of EIT Community Hub. Could you go to the next stage? Yes, next slide, please. So the next criteria for the stage 1 and 2 is quality and efficiency of implementation. So here we are going to have a look of action plan you're proposing in application form, coherence and feasibility. What are you proposing as a main activity? What KPIs you would like to reach with this activity? Timelines, communication, engagement, and logistic, and how it's realistic to be implemented. Operational capacity to deliver the role of country representative. And then, of course, this element of consortium, we would like to evaluate what consortium member is bringing to the table, and if all two consortium member have necessary capacities. So each of those criteria, the 3 below, will be scored from 1 to 5. And then there is additional criteria, but only to be implemented stage 2, kick portfolio strategic fit. So we are going to have a look of contribution to improve our geographical coverage with EIT food activities, particularly in the countries and regions where participation of the EIT food programs is currently limited. We are going to also kind of check our statistic, the number of partners we have ecosystem, and the added value of the proposal activities KPI targets to the EIT Food portfolio. So this criterion KIC portfolio strategic fit will be evaluated only in the second stage, but in the same amount of scoring from 1 to 5. And the next slide. Yes, so this is the timeline. So as we mentioned before, we foreseen possibility to have an interview on the stage 1 when we see that 2 applicants from the same country were seeing their similar scoring. So then we may decide to have the interview between 2nd and 4th of February in the situation that the scoring is very near by 2 applicants coming from the same country. Then the other interview, the stage 2, will be run with all applicants selected to be part of the stage 2 on this level, and we foreseen to have those interviews between 12th and 18th of February. We expect that we will finalize all evaluation by 20th of February, and we will be able to contact relevant organization, and then we will start the process of onboarding and also appeals contracting. So it will take us around a couple of weeks. Usually we're keeping 1 month time for onboarding and checking all documentation. So we foreseen that the activity, the country representatives will start the operation at the end of March. And I believe this was the last slide we prepared.
Yeah, this is the last one. I just wanted to add that, of course, the timeline is indicative because we have no idea how many applications we will receive. So in case there is like a much higher number of applications than we are counting on, then we may need to adjust, as that might require a little bit more time for the evaluators also to read your applications. But of course, this would then be, if we do have to adjust this, we would notify the applicants, all of the applicants. Yeah, and indeed, this was our last last slide. So the time is now for your questions. Maybe I know that you have been
yes,
going
so
through
maybe first let's go to the chat just to summarize our answer. So there's a question about the recording. So our idea is to publish this recording in the website with the call documents, and also we have Q&A document there, and we pick up all the questions here and also kind of extend the document. So yes, you will get access to recording. There was also the question if we could provide you recording. No, we are going to share this recording through the website, and then you will find it there. The questions around KPIs, so my colleague also provided a direct link to the KPIs, and this is the document, one of attachment to the call guidelines document, so we have description KPIs there. This call is also open for, yes?
I don't know if you addressed, there is also a second part of the KPI question from Petra. Are these KPIs country specific or unified across all hubs?
Unified, and I would say that also unified through the EIT words. So we are using the same KPIs at EIT Health, Culture, Creativity. Maybe you heard that water was established, EIT Water, something maybe will be interesting for you in the future. So those are the core KPIs are the same for each EIT community.
Yeah. But the KPI targets that we put in the call guidelines, those are of course for each applicant or for each country representative separately to be achieved.
Yes. Yeah. So 22 countries are eligible for this call. In bold, we mark only those countries that in the past we had hub network established. Now we are shifting a little bit the model we work. We are not going to have EIT Food Hub. We are going to have EIT Food Country Representatives that will become the members of EIT community hubs established in each of the EIT risk countries, including also Poland and Spain that are not eligible for this call. But I explained before that in Poland and Spain, we have office, and we as employee represent EIT Food in the countries. So Kosovo is not eligible for this call. We are working on the bilateral exchange with Kosovo. So our colleagues from the partnership team are working with Kosovo, a little bit different approach. And then we have a couple of questions around the task.
I was
Task
wondering,
number,
did you
yes?
notice that there was also, sorry, yes, it's afterwards. Go ahead.
Yes, so around the task 3, our plan is to share also with you the database of alumni of the activities that were run by EIT Food itself, but also some information about the previous work of EIT Food Hubs. We would like to kind of use your capacities to catch up additional KPIs, maybe from participant of the hackathon or the training that later on he or she established startup, and we could capture together this KPI. So yes, we will do our best to share with your work database. Task number 3. What are the criteria for an eligible startup for EIT Food Pipeline? It really depends on the activity. For example, Jump Starter, this is activity, pre-acceleration activity. So with EIT Jump Starter, we are scouting entrepreneurial talents. With EIT Food Taxation Network, we are scouting a little bit mature startups. So at the beginning of our also collaboration, somewhere in the beginning of April, we are going to organize the session and provide you all materials about eligibility to each of the program run by EIT Food. At this stage, you can just check our website, EIT Food Entrepreneurship, but also we are remodeling some of activities for the next period. So it's quite difficult for me to give you like concrete examples, but it's something we are going to support you. At the moment, everything is on our website available, so you can check there. What capacity building activities are foreseen for 26-28? Our representatives expect to propose their own activities. So yes, we would like to keep this kind of open for you to decide what is needed for your ecosystem in terms of kind of increase the capacities in innovation. So we expect that you will propose what activity should be implemented with this task. Here, of course, the core KPI, such as startup supported, startup created, learner trade, train, this will be obligatory. So here all information about KPIs are listed in the documents that my colleague Leticia actually shared the link with you. Also is there with the call documents. Yes, Elina?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that two things. First of all, that in the application form for task 5, you have a separate field where you need to indicate which of the EIT food core KPIs, but you can also, of course, add some additional KPIs you wish to achieve with this activity. And secondly, regarding the type of activity that you propose, it also should really, as Milda says, be something that is relevant for your ecosystem and it hangs in with the general idea that you want to, the general strategy that you want to achieve or that you want to work towards in your country with your country representation in terms of like thematic focus, etc., which of course should be in line with the EIT Foods thematic focus, but it's fairly broad, so maybe you want to also decide a more focused approach in your country. Go ahead, Milda.
Albania and Bosnia-Herzegovina are eligible for the country. Just in the past, we didn't have hub there, but now we are changing our structure. We are rebuilding our network in different ways. So Albania, Bosnia-Herzegovina, once again, they are eligible for the call. And maybe, Elina, here you can one more time repeat what was on the slide on the questions and answer around contact point for Horizon Europe.
Yeah, it's the answer is yes, that we don't. So anyone who has been like a representative participated in the project funded by EIT Food or is a Horizon Europe national contact points. We also have some hubs, current hubs that are doing hubs for more than one KIK. So I mean, that there is no exclusion for that either, as far as I know, Milda. There is no new restriction on that. So your other roles, of course, as long as you have the human resources to cover the activities that we're asking you to implement on an annual basis.
So then we have a question about the company who take part in several programs of EIT Food, those mainly startup support activity, business creation activity. As we said before, we are looking somebody who is an expert, key player in the local agri-food sector, and again, agri-food sector. So in the past, we have the consortia built of the university, the big units, with startup support organization. So here we are looking for somebody who have capacities to deliver the activities. So if the company would like to take the role, yes, it's possible that the company can take the role, but then we are going to evaluate the experience and the position of this company in the ecosystem.
I can take the next question. So there is a question from Irene. So if there is an EIT food hub established in our country, there is no eligibility for new applicants. And no, this is not true. Anyway, the current hubs that are established, their mandate ends on the 31st of December. So they were selected for 2 years, for 24-25. So this call that we are having now is the new call for EIT Food Country Representatives, because that's what the EIT food hubs are now called, for 26-28. So even if there was a hub, say in Bulgaria in 2024 and 25, you can apply to be an EIT food country representative in Bulgaria for 26-28. So that is no restriction.
Then there's a question, what about an organization which promotes and run general REI initiative? Regional innovation, I guess. Not specific in agri-food. So part of evaluation is kind of related to be the key actor in agri-food sector. So this organization that you are listing here, the General REI Initiative, it could be maybe a consortium member bringing some additional value, but here we're really looking for somebody with expertise in our sector that we work with. The consortium partners need to be from the same listed country, yes. Or the international, well, it has to be organization coming and willing to represent us in one of the country needs to be based and operating in the country. We do not foresee, let's say, Lithuanian organization taking the role of food country representative in Latvia. No, this will not be the case. We are looking for local representation. It is possible to provide letters of support and close with our applications. Yes, you can attach this. There's a section to attach document, but it's not obligatory. It's not necessary.
You can explain. I think this is maybe something you can cover also in the section where you are describing your position in the ecosystem and who your stakeholders are, so who you are collaborating with. You can already cover that there, but yeah, there is no restriction in a way that you can attach also a letter of support.
Of course, organizations that in the past took the role of being EIT food hubs, they are eligible for also being the future EIT food country representatives, so they could apply. Yes. There's also the question related to the costs, personal costs. So we are applying the rules of Horizon Europe. Admin normal activities in terms of personal costs. So regarding the cost eligibility, those are like the rules Horizon Europe, and we have the section on the personal costs as well. Letter support. And then I'm not sure if I understand the questions coming from Guido. What does the maturity of legal entity signify?
Oh, this is that it has to be established for 3 years. So say we are not accepting applications from an organization that was established a year ago because we feel that that organization would not have the necessary experience. Also, it's important to note also that it also requires some certain funding pre-financing of costs as well from your organization's point of view. So the way that the funding flow at EIT Food works is that there is usually, let's say, normally we operate on a pre-financing, on one pre-financing payment and then a final payment the year after for the activities implemented, say, in 2026, the final payment will come in 27, but so it means that there might be a period, there will for sure be a period when you would need to pre-finance some of your activities, plus of course the co-funding that you need to bring. So again, the maturity or kind of like how, that if an organization is an older organization, they have more chances of ensuring that as well.
Then there's technical question about the application field in blocks. So yes, our platform, when you create the application, first of all, you receive the email that application was created, and you can enter the platform several times and it will be there, your application form. There's a button to submit. So before you not press the button, the application will be there. So we can kind of work on that. Also, I think Elina already mentioned that you can upload the presentation. The application in the Word document. Download, sorry.
Yes, you can't upload it in Word, but you can download the Word template. Yeah. And there's a separate tab, so you have the open calls, and I think the next to it was my application, so you would find back the application that you started working on under my applications.
Can we share presentation? I think you have your contact details, so I think we can send presentation by email.
So as I mentioned to Ilknur as well, is that those of you who, because we asked you whether you were okay that we contact you after the webinar with any updates or anything about this call, and those of you who said that you're fine with that, we will share information when the recording is available. So give us a couple of days to upload that, and we can also share the presentation. Yes.
So with the application form through EIT Food Portal, you will submit the budget split for 26, only for 1 year. And then for 27, 28, we'll deal later on.
Because also the action plan, we're asking you to submit the action plan for like the specific kind of range of activities is for 2026, not for all 3 years.
So the question, the platform. In the platform, you can like extend application form and work on the Word mode, but then somebody has to put those information. So in terms of consortium, you can use the Word document, but then somebody has to copy to paste to the platform.
And maybe Milda, I just wanted to so Ante asked a question whether, so for example, we have these 15 countries where we have hubs at the moment, and you have 22 countries that can apply, and she's asking whether or not it can be the case that if you have a hub or currently a hub in one country, that it will not be selected for 26-28 period. And yes, it's quite important, I think, to note, especially for the hubs that are operating currently, that this is really like a competition. So of course, at the country level, we will select first one application at the country level to make sure that we don't have like 3 best applications from one and the same country. But indeed, when it comes to the final competition between the applications, it's possible that we will have 22 applications if they're all of sufficient quality that are in the long list for the second stage. And it's possible, yes, indeed, that if your application is weaker than another application, and by adjusting it for the EIT Food strategic portfolio fit, that you will not be selected even if you have a hub activity in your country this year. So that is a possible situation.
Yes, so we are closing one of the chapter having EIT Food Hub. We are closing this chapter. Now we are building a new structure, EIT Food Country Representatives. And we have some budget limitations. So the budget limitation is that we can fund it only 15 operations in 15 countries with this network. However, it is possible to have EIT Food Hub still operating if it's funded out of EIT grant. So
No, not EIT grant, if it's funded by another
another source other
yes.
than EIT Food Grant. So this is the only case that we will be able to keep the naming EIT Food Hub is if the funding comes outside of the EIT grant. This is the only case possible to keep the name. So regarding the branding, we are going to have EIT Food Country Representatives, EIT Food Country Representative, name of the country, EIT Food Country Representative Estonia, representing us in Estonia. And this entity representing us Estonia is a member of EIT Community Hub Estonia under this umbrella. So if it's, because this is the question about also own institutional branding. So let's say that this is University of Research Center who's applying to be country representative. So this university, let's say University of Warsaw is applying. I've used the Polish case because it's not eligible here. University of Warsaw will apply to the position, but of course they keep all the structure being of university, performing as university, thus they will be nominated with the awarded with EIT Food Country Representative. But of course, they will be using their own branding as institutional branding. We are a Portuguese private part of the divination ecosystem that deals with sustainable materials with serve application beyond food. Can we join? Beyond food, can we join? You can always join, but as we said before, one of the criteria is like being expert in agri-food sector. So maybe you can join as a consortium with somebody who is like really into the agri-food sector. It's hard to kind of reply directly. It really depends of your application, what you're proposing, and your previous experience of being having expertise in agri-food sector. The co-funding should not necessarily be coming from grants. Can it be our own resources? Yes, co-funding can be your own resources.
Actually, just to note that in most cases, I think your co-funding you will not, unless you receive a grant, say national grant or like a private grant that is directly addressing the same activities that you're proposing under EIT, well, that we're asking you to do under the EIT Food country representative framework. In most cases, you will not be able to use other funding. Also, you have to keep in mind that any other EU funding cannot be used as co-funding. So you cannot co-fund an EU project, EU-funded project, which this would be the case, with another EU-funded project, right? So in most cases, the additional 20% in this case come from the organization's own resources. Yeah, but just it's important that you keep the funding of EU projects, especially, and this EIT food funded activity separate.
Could you please clarify, can the organization or one of the consortium organization be an EIT food representative and participate in the call for the implementation of EIT food programs in the country where it's EIT food representative? So you could also apply to other calls of EIT food. If you are selected for being EIT Food country representative in country, do not limit it your participation other calls or requests coming through our website, through the procurement of the other call section.
well, maybe an additional note on this, but of course I understand the question because it's a slight conflict of interest, if you like, that on the one hand you're supposed to promote it, and on the other hand you're also a competitor in a way with the other applicants from your country. But yeah, that this is there is no restriction, but this should not restrict also how you promote the programs of EIT Food in your country as an EIT Food Country Representative. So a bit of a Chinese wall between you and the persons, or who is operating as the country representative, and obviously also applying in other calls.
Regarding the deadline, we have one deadline. Is it the same, regardless that it's consortium or individual organization applying for the country representative nomination? The
And
deadline
it
is
needs to
one.
be, yeah, and just to reiterate, it is in the same application. This is why when I was showing regarding the application form, you need to select that this is application, if you are applying with a consortium member, that this is an application with another consortium member, and then the application form, there will be certain fields that will appear that are linked to the consortium members, administrative details, their experience, and also some questions about consortium relevant, so it's important that they don't have to submit their own application, parallel one. They just you submit a joint application with your consortium member.
So maybe we can also pick up once again the cost reporting. It's related also for this co-funding rate that we're asking in the application. We're asking for 20% of co-funding. It of course could be in kind, but
Well,
yeah.
maybe
Could you
here
explain
it's
that?
because I think we're mixing two things. So the budget of this entity or this EIT Food Country Representation, say you are sticking with the maximum grant amount and then also the minimum co-funding amount. These are the 62.5K that you have in costs, and these should be just normal costs that you incur. Yes, it will be personnel costs are most likely going to make up most of the costs that you will incur, but also organization, costs that you related to organization of events, some travel costs, like these would be like the normal costs that you incur. And these need to be for the 62.5K. These costs need to be you need to report costs because you will be doing an actual cost reporting at the end of the year or beginning of the following year, and you need to be able to show cost for the entire amount of 62.5K if you wish to get the 50K EIT grant, right? So because it's split 80-20, so if you report 55K, you will be getting 80% of those 55K as the EIT grant, provided that all costs are eligible. So in this respect, yes, it's a kind of in-kind contribution. We're not asking you to show the money. It's just that we will not be reimbursing you more than the 80% of your total cost that you will be reporting at the end of the year. And up to 50K, because that is the maximum EIT grant amount that we allocate to each country representative. And then if you're in a consortium, obviously this is split according to your internal agreements and activities that each of the consortium members do. So that's just how it works. And then in-kind contributions is actually normally a different cost category or a type of cost, right? When you are getting some, when you're using some services of a third party free of charge, they are providing these services free of charge, and we'll need to see whether those type of costs will be eligible in the next grant agreement, because we're currently in the process of transitioning to a new grant agreement with the EIT, and normally this is defined in the grant agreement whether or not in-kind contributions are eligible. But I think in your case, just think of the 62.5K as the total budget that you have to spend in a year to get the 50K of the EIT grant, and this will be a lot of it is going to be your personnel costs and other costs that you incur to implement the the representation activities in the year?
I think we cover all the questions, but
Yes.
please let us know if everything's clear.
There is will need pre-financing.
So we are assessing the expertise of organization who will take the role of country representative, but also expertise of the team. Like both aspects are assessed.
Yeah. And there is a question from Gabriella with if there is going to be any pre-financing provided. Will reimbursement be issued only after the submission and approval of the annual report? And for the moment, we can only say how it has worked previously. And say, for example, in 2025, all hubs got a pre-financing based on the budget that was allocated to them for 2025. And then now in the beginning of 2026, they will be submitting the cost statement. So declaring all of the costs that they have incurred. We're also checking the performance reporting to see whether all of the activities have been implemented. And then they will get the remaining payment for the activities of 2025 sometime later in 2026. It's hard to assess this specifically, like to give a very specific timeline. This is why I also mentioned that it's important for the organizations to be aware that there is certain amount of pre-financing that you will need to provide for the implementation of this project, because there is always a bit of a delay with the funding, with the final payment, because this depends on EIT reviewing the global report from EIT Food, and which includes all of the projects funded by EIT Food, including these EIT Food Country Representations. So there's quite a long, it can be fairly long procedure, so you cannot expect the payment in like February for your activities in the previous year. This is not going to happen. It's going to be later in the year, more like early summer. Yeah. But also there is a pre-financing.
So I believe we've replied to all questions that were posted in the chat, but if any of you would like to also take the floor and ask a question, we still have 5 minutes.
Okay, everything is clear. That's great. We're waiting for your applications. We'll be excited to read about you and your proposed plans. So, of course, you can always reach us also via email. I think, Milda, this is your email address. That is the
Yes.
main contact indicated in the call guidelines. You will find it somewhere towards the end of the call guidelines. So, yeah, if something becomes unclear during when you will be working on the application form, like sometimes things reveal themselves, the deeper you go into the details, the more maybe questions you have. So just drop us a line and we'll get back to you. Great. Excellent. Okay. We will be in touch then with you to notify when the recording is available. And thank you very much for being here in such high numbers. We're happy to see that there is so much interest.
Thank you. Have a nice day and weekend. And if we don't see each other anyway, happy also holidays that I'm approaching. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.